What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Sisters, excuse me, season 1, episode 8. Let's just talk about what happened. I'm not going. We're just going to talk about what happened. So we see Andy came home from the hospital. The dude dropped her off, and Gary is waiting for her. He looking out the window, honey. And when she walks in the door, he jumps on her. Who's that guy? Who is he? Is that who you seeing? You seeing somebody else? And she was like, "What you talking about?" She was like, "Look, the woman at my office, the lady, the cleaner lady that let you in, she fainted. That was her grandson. I went to the hospital with her. He gave me a ride home. My car is still at the office, which I still don't understand why she left her car at the office and had him bring her home. But whatever, Andy, whatever made sense in your head is whatever, whatever." Then they get to arguing, and she said, "Look, he said, I'm sorry that I asked you to represent my wife. What was I thinking?" And she said, "Well, it don't matter because I'm going to be representing her. My boss pretty much didn't give me a choice. It's either, you know, don't represent her and get fired, represent her, and then they find out who I am, and I still get fired, and I lose my law license. So I'm kind of in a catch-22 at this point in the game." Um, Now, if I was going to be real ratchet about the situation, I would say, Andy, go on and quit. Let the dude take care of you and just get a whole bunch of stuff put in writing. I don't know, you a lawyer. Get a nice little agreement drawn up. Because I mean, you're gonna lose your law license anyway. You might as well make sure you get something for it. They said he a CEO worth a lot of money, but that's just if I'm being ratchet. I understand what Andy is. I wouldn't want to be, I ain't trying to rely on a man to take care of me or nothing like that. So they end up getting into an argument about it, and Andy is like, "Look, I'm about to go out with my friends." Which Andy, again, I feel like I really feel like you probably should have stayed home with Gary and y'all worked some stuff out. I don't think that you going out was necessarily the right move. And at this point, by this time, ain't the club closed yet? I really feel like this night lasted forever. The club wasn't closed, but she was like, "I gotta go." I told my girls I'd meet up with him. He was like, "Really? Like, I'm here. I left my wife. Like, this our first night together. You got to go out with your friends." Like, not to say she can't ever go out with her friends, but it just seemed like everything was new. This is what you've been wanting this man to do all this time, and now he did it, and it's like, I don't know. It was weird. It was weird to me. I wasn't really getting it. Because even before she met old dude, the grandson, I don't know. It was just weird to me. Then she's getting ready to go in the room to change her clothes. She goes and he got rose petals on the bed and all this other stuff. So of course, he apologizes, she apologizes. Next thing you know, they having sex, honey. Now again, I'm thinking she gonna leave. She gonna call them and tell them that she not gonna meet them. And she like, she get finished having sex and she like, "All right, thanks, that was great. All right, let me go get dressed." He was like, "Get dressed? Where you going?" She was like, "I gotta go meet the girls." Now again, I say, you were already running late. You done went all the way to the hospital, stayed there. They've been at the now you done had sex. Now I don't know what kind of quickie stuff y'all was getting into, but neither here nor there. They not they not done yet. He said you can't just send them a text saying you're not coming. She was like, "I can't do that. That's impersonal." You're right. You should call them, but you really should have called them and said, "I'm not coming." But okay, you were insisting that you were gonna come down to the club, honey, and he's trying to beg you to stay. He was coming off a little needy, but I kind of felt where he was coming from. But it was coming off a little needy. Um, then he asked her about the money. What'd he do that for? So she was like, "Yeah, it seems like your wife want to pretty much take half of what you have." He was like, "Yeah, I was expecting that." But then it seemed like he asked her about, "Oh, so she's moving money around? Oh, that's what she's doing?" And Andy was like, "Whoa, hold up, player. I'm not going to get into this with you. They brought up the private detective again, and he was like, "Oh, do you have the private detective's information?" And she was like, "Yeah." He told me, "So why do you have that information?" Seems to me like you would want her to have that information. But okay, even if that's the case, she was like, I mean, he was asking for it, and she was like, "I can't give you like I can't cross. I'm already crossing enough lines. Like I can't just blatantly be like here." And of course he was like, "You right, you right, you right." But mind you, this whole time, Andy is still getting dressed like she getting ready to go out to this club, and I'm just not understanding. Maybe y'all can explain it to me in the comments, whatever. So, um, and again, I don't want to come off as I'm the kind of chick that leave her friends hanging for a dude. That's not what I'm saying. But this situation, they got some serious stuff they need to talk about and resolve. I mean, the fact that is he done moved in with her instead of going to a hotel. The fact that there's a private detective following him. The fact that she is violating some rules of ethics. And like, there are some serious issues they need to work out. This ain't about staying home to get your groove on with your husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what this is about. Well, with your boyfriend. Anyway, moving on. Um, Now down to the club. Um, Sabrina and Ronnie, they're still down to the club. Ronnie still got an attitude. She's still being, and again, this whole situation with Ronnie was ridiculous too, because like I said last week, nothing was said about you that hasn't been said to you. We've seen that in just the 5 or 6 episodes that we've seen. Stephanie has made it very clear. Karen, I'm just making up names now. Karen. Karen has made it very clear how she feels about you. She said that you don't ever had no money. She said that you loud and ghetto. She said that you are a stalker and you don't know how to treat men. Like nothing that Zach told her we didn't already know. But she got an attitude. And when Stephanie got there, Lord, see, y'all know how I get with names. When Karen got there, she asked her about it. You know, she confronted, even though Sabrina was like, "Don't say nothing, don't say nothing." I'm like, "Nah, y'all need to get it on out. They don't need to hold on to it. Y'all need to get it on out." So when she said to her, excuse me, when she said it to her, Karen was like, "Okay, yeah, I said it. And I've said it to you. So what's the problem?" And I'm sitting here thinking the same thing. Like, dude, what is the problem? Like, everything that he said, she has said to your face. Also, it came out that Zeke was staying at Ronnie's. Now, once again, Sabrina was like, "Don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything." And I'm like, "No, that should have been said day one. Like before you even let that man come to your house. If y'all as good of friends as they trying to make us believe, you should have called her and said, 'Look, I know you and old boy ain't standing for each other right now, but I found out he's staying at a homeless shelter, and I just can't in good conscience do that. Like, I work with him, and that's what's going around, and I just in good conscience can't have that man living in no shelter, you know." So she told her, and she was like, "Well, he's helping me with the rent." And then Karen brought up a good point. She said, "Oh, so he can help you with the rent, but he couldn't help me pay the rent." And I was like, "Now that's a good point. That's a very good point." Of course they went back and forth because Ronnie's in her feelings. And Karen was like, "Look, I'm out. I'm done. I'm good. Like I've had a real messed up night." Because when she went the reason why they would even peep to it is because when she went to tell them what went down when Zeke showed up while the other dude was kissing her, they weren't surprised at the story because of course Zeke had already told them, Zach, whatever, had already told them, and Ronnie had already, let Sabrina know. So neither one of them were surprised at the story. Um, so that's how the whole thing even came out. So Karen is just over it. She is over all of it. She's over the attitude. She's over men. She's over the whole situation. And then on top of that, Andy ain't even there. And that's the other thing that Ronnie has an issue with. Ronnie is like, well, Karen and Andy, they have their own little thing. They have their own little clique within a clique. They don't tell me stuff. I bet you Andy don't show up. She's not going to show up because this is my idea. No, she's not going to show up because she got a whole issue going on over in her apartment. But okay. And the reality of the situation is, once again, and maybe I don't know, maybe it's just my personality, but that's how cliques are. They're going to always be people who are closer than others within a clique. You have a big clique of friends, or not even have to be a big clique, but they're going to be people who vibe differently, And I have felt that way before. I'm not going to lie. I have felt that way before. Be like, well, dang, they closer, they closer to each other than they are to me, or they be having conversations that I don't have with them. Oh, for real, for real. I mean, I have felt that way before. I ain't gonna act like that's foreign to me, but I just know that that does happen in cliques. So from that point of view, I can understand where Ronnie's coming from, feeling some kind of way about the whole Karen and Andy clique, because they are closer. And we've seen that in the 4 or 5 episodes that we've looked at. They do have a different relationship. They are on a vibe differently. Um, so Karen ends up leaving Honey. And what happened was Andy called right as Karen was getting ready to leave to basically, check the temperature. She was on her way. But when she found out there was some stuff going down, then she was like, well, whoa, 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 what's happening? Like, why you not telling me, like what's going on? And who was it? Karen ended up leaving. So Andy called Sabrina back. Sabrina was trying to tell her what happened, but then but then Karen called, so Andy went and talked to Karen. And Karen gave her the breakdown of what went on. And Andy tried to tell Karen, well, look, because part of what Ronnie was telling Karen was, you emasculated that man. Like, yeah, he might have had some stuff with him, and yeah, he cheated on you or whatever. But at the end of the day, you emasculated him, and you created a toxic environment for him. So of course Karen was like, oh, so you on his side now? Like, that's how you feel? Like, I'm the bad guy? Like, okay. You know what he put me through, but now you taking his side over mine. All right, it's whatever. So then look, y'all, I'm throwing all of what out there because it really was only 3 scenes. Like, this episode really was just the club, Andy's apartment, and then this last little part. Well, no, we do see Karen, and then we have the Sabrina situation. So it was just a lot of back and forth of the same scene of different stuff. So if I'm out of order, it's whatever. But I'm gonna get it all in there, honey. I'm gonna get it all in there,